Well, good morning and welcome to day 3 of Start Strong 21. Thanks for joining me. We're getting into some really practical business building training here this morning. So good, so good. All right, so just a little bit of housekeeping before I get into today's topic. I'm getting a bunch of emails from you guys every single day asking me when is the next Kingdom Business Summit organized for. And so I just want to cover off for you, there is nothing booked because venues are still 4 square meter rule, 2 square meter rule, can't book out, It can't go to any big convention centers because at the moment you have to use a government ticketing system, which is not available. So we've got a few things that we are juggling there. I guess rest assured, just know this, I'll be doing something, right? It's the beautiful game of cat and mouse that we have to play as entrepreneurs. When we have issues in front of us, we've got to find a way around them. So just so that you know, within the next 8 to 10 weeks, bringing it probably just behind when we normally do it, there will be some version of Kingdom Business Summits. It will either be, the standard big ones in big cities over 2 days, or if I have to, I'll do lots of little ones and I'll do them right around the country. We just got to juggle. We've got to juggle flights, restrictions, and venues to be able to do that. Just want you to know that we are working on it. They're going to happen. They may take a very different form this year, but I want to get around the country for more than 20 minutes that we're doing here. I want to get days and evenings with you so that we can get your businesses booming. So just wanted you to know that we are working on it. It's going to happen. I just don't have exactly right now exactly how it looks, all right? So just know that we are working on it. Do me a favor. In the question box, we've got a bunch of new names that are coming up on the screen in front of me today. So just in the question box, just let me know where you are from around this beautiful world. All right, and it's good for me to see because we end up picking people from literally every continent, and I like that too. All right, what we got here? We got Adelaide, Gold Coast, Brisbane, New Zealand, Malong, Lake Macquarie, Brizzy, Ormo, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Cairns, Blue Mountains, Gold Coast, Toowoomba, Auckland. Very, very good. Bundaberg, Goulburn, Brizzy, Oregon. Hope you're well, Eric, in Oregon. And a whole bunch of names are flying in, I can't even keep up. So good that we can use technology to build our businesses. Now, that brings us to today's topic. I was thinking about this and I'm like, I know that people would like to hear inspirational type, like pump up your tires type message. It's okay, we can do one of those tomorrow. It doesn't actually, as important as the pump up is also the practical training. So we're going to get kind of really tactical in this session here this morning. And as I was thinking about this, I'm like, I need to give you some perspective, I believe, some perspective on this because many of you guys are going to conferences, chasing the local prophet when they come through town or now when they're online, Like you can sit under all of the Sunday sermons your entire life and they're amazing and valuable. But actually, unless you get out into the marketplace and execute on strategies that work in the year that you are in, then all the sermons, all the strategies, all the conferences, all the prophetic words will likely fall over because when we don't execute practically, we're not doing our bit, all right? And I meet hundreds of people every year who are so spiritual. They can tell you Greek in this and Hebrew in this, right? They can, they understand all of the dispensations and they got theories. But and then they're in business and on a Monday morning, they can't actually do anything. They don't know how to get a customer. They don't know how to recruit someone. And those people, by the way, their influence that they could have had is this big because they don't execute. And that's why I want to pull from those two areas. It's phenomenal to be spiritual and understand theology and all those things, but you have to be able to do the work in the marketplace. And what I want to cover off with you this morning or evening, depending on where you are. What I want to cover with you with this call is something that I think is one of the greatest gifts of 2021, most overlooked gifts of 2021, but also something that if you nail it now in the year, meaning really early in the year, then it sets you up for a ton of momentum to have your best year ever. I want to talk to you about measuring your audiences on social. All right, so effectively, when I talk about social media, social media is really only 7 to 8 platforms, across, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and blah, blah, blah. By the way, there's one new one. I just want to get this to you. If you're on Clubhouse, if you are on Clubhouse, come and find me at Wes Hone, right? Come and follow me. We're going to do some great stuff over on Clubhouse. If you don't know what it is, go research it. It's in beta mode. It's phenomenal. And I think it's probably going to where I'm going to put a lot of my attention. So if you're on Clubhouse, go find me and follow me at Wes Hone. So social media is those platforms. But really, in terms of ads, right? In terms of ad spend, you've really only got LinkedIn and you've really only got Facebook and Instagram in terms of, and that will cover, by the way, 90% of the marketplace across those three. LinkedIn being more of a B2B platform, Facebook being the best ad platform in the world for audiences that are over probably 40. They work under, but they're probably best over 40, and then Instagram would be that 25 to 40. So you can cover 90% of the marketplace through those platforms. I want to take you through a process that will allow you to get those platforms to work for you, right? All day, I hear people tell me, social media doesn't work, Facebook ads don't work, and when I drill down and I try and find out what it is that they have done, they've never done process to find out what works. And that's what I'm going to cover here, because process is your friend when it comes to getting your ads to work across social. What most people do, okay, just understand what most people do is they think of a message, right, or an angle, right, and then they put that out on social and then wonder why it doesn't work. The amount of people that literally create a Facebook ad and push it to a cold audience, and then when it doesn't work, come back to me and tell me Facebook ads don't work is ludicrous. It happens all the time. And yet I say to people, that what you just explained to me, right? Run a Facebook ad to a cold audience and get them to buy. We don't do that anywhere else in our lives, right? If you decide that you are 18 and you want to get married, you don't just go down to the local shop, walk in the shop, see a person of the other sex and walk up and go, we're getting married, grab your coat, let's go. Like that would be the marriage equivalent of how people treat their Facebook ads. When you have a retail shop, right? When you have a retail shop and you're the shopkeeper, when you see somebody walking by, you don't just run out, club them over the head and drag them back into your shop to hope they buy. That would be the retail equivalent of how most people are treating their Facebook ads. No. When you want to marry somebody, you court them, you get to know them, you hang out with them, you find their interest, you check you're aligned, and then one day you're going to make a move and hopefully you've got a good conversion rate. In a retail shop, we dress the windows so people engage, and then we put sale items out the front, and then we get people in the store, and then we, talk to them and build rapport and get them in the change room. So Facebook ads needs to be the same thing. And I guess the difference, though, between somebody who puts an ads out cold and tries to get it to work is somebody who doesn't appreciate the process of getting it to work. And that's what I want to run through here this morning. Right? So process is your friend. The strategy I'm going to lay out for you is going to cost you, though, some money. And I think, I'm actually going to give it a number. I reckon it's going to cost you about $600 to be able to do this. Now, there's a million caveats that I could put on that. If you're in a tiny town with a population of 1,000 people, it's probably not even, right, that much money, because you couldn't spend that much money to get into everybody's life. So there are some places that you could do this for a little bit cheaper. But I don't think, if I go to the extreme, I think $600 would prove the concept in New York, right? Because it's such a big city. So I think that, you don't need to add a zero to go to 6,000 to get this process to work in a big city. I literally think for $600, you can go through a process that lets the market tell you what they want from you. And I guess that's the difference. So many people are coming up with what they want to say and they put it out on social, and it's 50-50 whether the market want it. And 50-50 are not good enough odds for me. I would rather pull back my ego a little bit, produce process that allows the market to tell me what they like, and then just give them more of that, right? Absolute no-brainer. So here's how you do it. So I've got an ad layout here. This is an ad layout that's, specifically more designed for a Facebook place, but ultimately if it's Facebook or LinkedIn, they look a little bit the same. Instagram would look a little bit different to this layout because it's a feed or a stories post. Doesn't really matter for the sake of it, right? But basically what you do is you come up with something that is insanely valuable, right? We're not selling. We should never be selling the first time we put something across to a cold audience. Let's just give them something. Let's get their attention by giving them something insanely valuable, right? A cheat sheet, a video series, a download, a guide, something that our market would possibly perceive to be valuable, that they would like, that we can get their attention with just by saying, hey, here's a thing and I want to give it to you, right? So you come up with something insanely valuable and that becomes your ad, right? So I recommend doing video because video is just better and more engaging. But basically you come up with something valuable and you do a hey, depending on who your audience is, you call out your audience, right? The type of person you want to get their attention. In the opening line, this is the text box. You can have 200 words, but the first line needs to probably call out some people. And then you have a video talking about your giveaway. So you produce an ad that is getting people's attention for whatever it is that you're giving away, right? Really simple to do. But here's the process. You come up with 3 different audiences. You come up with 3 different audiences that you could push this to. And then you run this campaign, you spend $100 pushing it to that audience, and then you stop. And you spend $100 pushing the same piece to that audience because it's different, and then you stop. And then you spend another $100 pushing the same message to a different audience, and then you stop. So at this point here, we have spent $300 pushing our valuable educational piece of information to 3 distinct audiences. So now what we've got at the end of this journey is we have got the market telling us which one they like, because I can quickly look back and go, how much engagement, likes, shares, comments did I get from this one? How much engagement did I get from this one? How much engagement did I get from this one? All things being equal, I can distill down which one the market liked the best. All right? When I talk about a distinction with audiences, let's say a financial planner, just picking a random business, a financial planner that wants to work with high net worth individuals, just to be clearer. The audience one could be, men between the ages of 50 and 75 living in Noosa, who are interested in Hamilton Island, golf, sailing, and Rolex watches, right? That would be an audience. But maybe it would be worth testing females between the ages of 50 and 70 who are interested in, the local spa, blah, 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 eating clean, like different audience altogether. I don't care who I sell to as a financial planner. I just want to get across an audience. And then maybe it's not. Maybe there's a pure... maybe I've got a lean towards motor racing and I'm like, I want to speak to men between 50 and 70 who are interested in Aston Martin, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Bentley, right? You can test those different audiences and you just go one and then that and then that. You can actually run that, by the way, at the same time. You can run that concurrently because they're different audiences. You don't even have to wait for 3 weeks or 3 lots of $100 or if it's $100 over 2 days, you don't have to wait 2 days each. You can run them simultaneously to get that information. So basically what happens is we come out of this testing period knowing which audience is popping best, right? That's the first stage. Now that we've got the audience, we actually need to refine the message. So we do it again, all right? And this is, again, a layout more for Facebook and LinkedIn, but you just tailor it according to the platform you're on. But basically now that we know the audience, and let's say it ended up being the women who between the ages of 50 and 70 who are interested in these things, maybe let's just say that was the best audience. Now, basically, all I do is I push these 3 campaigns to the same audience. And it's the audience that was the best performing audience in the run before. So I stick to that audience now for the next 3, but I actually pitch them 3 different messages, right? And what do I mean by messages? Message 1 could be, I'm running an event on Hamilton Island, you should register. Message number 2 could be, I'm available for 6 boutique private client meetings a month, would you be interested? Message number 3 could be, let me give you, a cash flow forecasting sheet that will allow you to make more money, whatever. You basically just come up with 3 different messages, 3, or maybe even 3 different, they're kind of 3 different offers, but you could even do it as you could even test, going through that same example, message number 1 is, I'm the friendly guy that's always there to help you out 24/7. Message number 2 could be, let's just get rich, right? And see if that piques their interest. And message number 3 could be different, right? So you could go through a period of testing different messages, and then what do you get? What you get in the end is the market telling you, right, which message resonates with them the best, because you get the best, whatever, likes, comments, shares from that. So then what do you do? What's the killer strategy? Combining the 2, right? You take your best audience and your best message. It's cost you maybe $600 to do that. And now you've got the winning combination that you can then take your marketing budget and back it. But you're only putting your marketing budget behind what the market have told you they like. And that process, by the way, is the one that nobody wants to go through because it's too hard and I've got to shoot a video and I can't remember my login for my social media platforms and all the other excuses. So. The process, though, is your friend. And let me tell you, this concept and the way that this is done has been around for a long time. It's just that nobody has seen it play out in a different environment and dragged it to the modern environment. If you were a national company in Australia or America or Europe or one of those, if you were there back in the 50s and 60s and 70s before social media came around, this is all they did. This was the process that they went through. So what would happen is somebody would say, I want to run a national campaign in all of the biggest newspapers, right? And just so you know, just to give you some perspective, in Australia, a 1 full-page ad in the Sydney Morning Herald is $318,000. 1 full-page ad currently in the Sydney Morning Herald is $318,000. So, but just take that back to the 70s, right? What people did was that it cost a lot of money to be in the paper. So what they would do is they would take lots of little messages. They would take 10 different ads and they would run them in all of the little regional papers around the countries, right? So they would, in Australia, they would put one in the Tully Times, right? And one in the Far North Queensland Bazaar. And they go, and they would just put different messages around the country and see how the country responded with the little papers, work out which one was best, run that ad in the main large national paper. Same process. Let the market tell you through micro testing what they like, and then take the one they like the most and run it as your campaign. So after you've been through this process and you've spent your $600 or whatever dollars, you can then know that the market like your message and you've got the right audience, and then you take your big marketing budget and you push it through that pipeline. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. See, that's not what most people do. Most people jump on here and they're like, oh, I need a customer, so I'll put a post up and hit boost. It's not going to work, guys. Never ever boost again. Make an ad, do it properly, go through process. See, even as I say this, some of you are like, it's too hard. It's too hard. No. It takes too much time. No. Listen, if you don't make the time to do this, don't worry, you'll have heaps of time soon. You'll have heaps of time to go to Centrelink. Well, you won't be able to play golf because you won't have any money, but you'll have heaps of time on your hands. Like, this is here to stay. It's the new world that we're living in. It is marketing in 2021, right? Yes, there are offline platforms, but this is where you should be putting the lion's share of your dollars in the next 2 to 4 years, and that's just where it is. So I'm saying this to you because you've got to go through this process. You're either going to go through this process in August, or you can go through this process now. Doing it now gives you far more momentum to make 21 your best year ever. To circle back to the start, right? There's plenty of prophets who are on Facebook declaring over strangers that this is the best year that they're ever going to have. Listen, it's wonderful. I take those things, I receive those things. But if you're not going to turn around and actually match it with intention and behavior and work, then it's dead set pointless. So guys, that brings us to the end of today's session. But I want to know from you guys, before we finish, what's the top one thing that popped to you from today's session? I want you to go to the question box and just put in there, what's the top one thing that jumped out to you on today's session, please. And by the way, if you're on Clubhouse, come and find me at Wes Hone. I'm going to be doing a ton of work on that platform. Okay, let's have a bit of a look at what's coming in. Do you still rate Google AdWords? Yes, 100%. It's amazing. So good. That's amazing. Thank you. The process, good. Is the call to action important? 100%. Process. Put the effort in, good. It's just a process, good. I need to test and measure. All of it. Awesome. Just for micro testing. Yeah, that's the word for 2021. Execute. Brilliant. Thank you for your input today. You're welcome. Get the audience, then get the message sharp. Good work, Nick. It's just a strategy. Yep. The importance of process. No more boosted Facebook posts. Good on you, Cassandra. Always test and measure to refine. Yes. Good work, Jono. It's just $600. Yes. Good on you, Peter. Test markets and then test content. Good. Don't boost. Make an ad and do it properly. Good on you, Prue. I'm missing half of these ones as they come in because they're coming in too fast. But behavior, intention, and work. Nice one, Margaret. Don't push ads out to a cold audience. Well, you can, but you do it this way. Thank you, as I did not understand this process. Well, you're welcome, Craig. Testing. I need to measure more. Good on you, Brad. Not selling. Yep, that's a nice pickup. Let the market tell you what they want. Good on you, Brendan. And blah, 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 abreast. All right. Well, hopefully this is helping you start strong in 21. I'll be back tomorrow morning working on you. By the way, it's not too late to tell your friends. If you want to email this out to some people you know, they can register and they can pick up these last few days of the program. See you tomorrow. Love you.